Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXP and today is the 22nd of November 2022 and the global cryptocurrency market has fallen down even further since yesterday. Now look guys, earlier today when I was trying to prepare for my podcast, I was looking at the stablecoin volume and the stablecoin volume was accounting for over 98% of the total cryptocurrency market volume. But when I started to prepare slides for my podcast, apparently the coin market cap had some kind of upgrade or something, so the stablecoin volume is not showing correctly. Now this thing happens quite often and it would be fixed probably in the next few hours. So in today's episode, I won't be discussing the details of stablecoins, but you need to know that the stablecoin volume has been a concern on two fronts. It is accounting for well over 90%. In the last few days, over 98%. That is a scary metric and the dollar value is ridiculously low. So just need to be aware of that when you're looking at the global cryptocurrency market. Now in today's episode, I'm going to be discussing two technical news and I'll very briefly talk about it because Glassnodes, they tend to provide a weekly insight every Mondays and they have confirmed that uncertainty looms among the Bitcoin whales and old hands, and CoinShares, they tend to provide a weekly snapshot and they have provided a weekly blog via Medium that states that short investment product inflows represented 75%. And looks like the investors are losing faith in the global cryptocurrency market. So we very briefly talk about that. But the biggest news that is circulating in the cryptocurrency world is about a crypto broker called Genesis. And they were founded in 2019. And there is an article by Bloomberg that talks about a possible warning of bankruptcy. So we're going to be talking about that in today's episode. And one of the OGs in the finance industry, that is JP Morgan Chase, they have had a patent for a digital wallet as well. So we'll be exploring that and what's going on with JP Morgan, because look, they've had a love-hate relationship with Bitcoin, but when it comes to customers, they're definitely offering cryptocurrency related services. And we also have some update on FTX. Now in yesterday's podcast, I did talk about a Senate hearing that would take place in December, and we have an official date, that is the 1st of December. And there is a massive news regarding Bitcoin using Lightning Network, and OpenNode has just tweeted that they have partnered with one of the online e-commerce giants called as WooCommerce, and it is an official partner for accepting Bitcoin using Lightning Network. So we'll be exploring that in today's episode. And regarding UAE, I have two news, and both the news are events that I conduct every month. And on the 15th of December, I do have an event called as Metaverse, the Hype Reality and New World Order. And on the 15th, I also have an Ethereum Beginner's Guide where we'll explore the history of Ethereum, what is Ethereum, the potential threats to Ethereum, and quite a lot more. So in today's episode, I'll give you a brief outline of what to expect in those sessions. So let's kickstart today's episode. So welcome everyone, it's 18 here in Dubai and you're listening to Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes on Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well. News that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East and the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And this is followed by Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions from the cryptocurrency world. Now every Fridays we have a Metaverse Everything podcast, where we solely focus on Metaverse. So please check out those episodes as well. And the format for Metaverse Everything podcast is completely different. And I tend to publish a daily and weekly report via my LinkedIn. So please follow me on LinkedIn. Now before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message. So check this out. Firstly guys, Startup OI is global one tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, the 10th edition of the world-renowned flagship, that is Global Blockchain Congress by Agora Group, is taking place on November 23rd and 24th at Sofitel, Dubai The Palm, and there will be more than 60 speakers, 150 investors, 30 sponsors, and these sponsors offer Metaverse, gaming, NFTs, and DeFi projects looking to raise funds, 20 media partners, and more than 300 delegates. So listen guys, if you're a blockchain startup looking to raise funds, join Agora on this special edition on the Global Blockchain Congress and have a one-to-one meeting with pre-qualified investors. And this edition's main themes are digital assets regulations in the GCC, Web3 platforms, metaverse, gaming and NFTs. Now remember guys, the spots are limited, so register online via the link in the show notes below, or go to Agora's LinkedIn page, or go to the website. All the details are in the show notes below. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called Rise in the Obstacle Course Race. And Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now, since you've taken care of that, let's kickstart this episode by looking at the price of the global cryptocurrency market. And to be honest, guys, November is turning out to be one of the worst months in 2022, and I was hoping that the last quarter of 2022 does have some positive or bullish indicators, but due to the unfortunate event of FTX, the global cryptocurrency market has fallen way below the $800 billion mark. It is down to $781.1 billion. Just to give you a perspective, guys, when Bitcoin was at its all-time high of 69,000, only the market cap of Bitcoin was around $1.3 trillion. And today the global cryptocurrency market is at $781.1 billion. Now since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.76%. And the total crypto market volume over the last 24 hours is $65.09 billion. Now since the last 24 hours, it is marginally increased by 1.55%. Now let's look at the volume in DeFi, because DeFi has, if not one of the worst years in 2022. The total volume in DeFi is currently at $4.24 billion, and as of today, $40.06 billion has been locked in DeFi protocols. Now look guys, one trend which I've been observing in DeFi after the FTX collapses, the total value locked has been on a decline, and MakerDAO still accounts for 15.70% with $6.29 billion locked. Now DeFi does account for 7.24% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. Now let me just read out the top 5 protocols, keeping in mind the total value locked. MakerDAO is number 1 at $6.29 billion. Lido is at $5.24 billion, but Lido's total value locked is taken out from the total value locked. Aave is third at $3.94 billion, and since the last few days, Curve is at number 4 at $3.65 billion, and previously, Uniswap, which used to be at 4, is currently at number 5 at $3.6 billion. Now usually guys, what I tend to do is usually after reading the total value log data, I'll look at the stablecoin volume, but today for some odd reason, coin market cap is not showing the right data, and they've started a new matrix that looks at the exchange scores. So I'm going to just briefly run through the top 5 cryptocurrency exchanges and their scores. Now, at this point of time, I really am not sure how they've calculated the scores, but Binance is number 1 at 9.9. Now, you need to remember that CoinMarketCap is owned by Binance. So will they be doing some notorious activity to make sure that Binance is number 1? Quite likely possible. Now, Coinbase is at number 2 at 8.3 score. Kraken is number 3 at 7.9. And Binance US is number 4 at 7.2. And KuCoin is at 7.1. Now, really, I'm not sure how the score is calculated, but what I'm going to be doing is tomorrow, I'll try to do some research and I'll try to identify on what basis they are doing these scores. Now, let's look at the market share, 24-hour trading volume and dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum. And Ethereum's dominance is well below the 50% mark of Bitcoin's market share. Now, what are your thoughts, guys? When does Ethereum flip Bitcoin? I was under the impression that 12 to 18 months after the Ethereum merge, most likely Ethereum would have flipped Bitcoin. But looking at the data for the past 3 months, I do think I'll have to recalculate the time frame. Now, Bitcoin's market share is at $302 billion and Ethereum's market share is $133 billion. The 24-hour trading volume of Bitcoin is $32.5 billion, whereas Ethereum's 24-hour trading volume is $13.4 billion. The dominance once again is relatively same since yesterday. The dominance of Bitcoin is 38.70% and Ethereum's dominance is 17.30%. And the market cap of privacy coins Monero is clearly an outlier and leading the pack, and it is at $2.33 billion. Zcash has gone down and the market cap is $593 million and Decred is at $273 million. Now, the number 4th and number 5th market cap of privacy coins tends to switch every other day. Harmony is at $166 million at number 4 and Mask Network is at $162 million. And guys, what I'm going to be doing is pretty soon I'm going to be releasing an episode on privacy coins. So we'll be looking at each of these privacy coins in detail, and I'll try to give my experience and my knowledge on how these differentiate among each other. Now, personally, I'm a massive fan of Monero, and I'm really hoping that it does remain the leader of the pack. Now, let's look at the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Binance Coin. Bitcoin, the king of all kings, is at $15,777, and since the last 24 hours, it is down by 2.17%. Since the last 7 days, it is down by 6.62%. Ethereum is on the verge of going below the $1,000 mark, and it is at $1,090. And since the last 24 hours, it is down by 3.21%. Since the last 7 days, it is down by 13.79%. Now look, guys, if you looked at the data via Glassnodes and CoinShares, based on the last week's data, it is possible that Ethereum could go below the $1,000 mark, but it is highly possible that Bitcoin whales and Ethereum whales do look this as an opportunity, and they might just pump the price of Ethereum and Bitcoin. Binance Coin is at $254. Since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.60%, and since the last 7 days, it is down by 8.10%. Now look, guys, ever since the FTX collapse, the entire global cryptocurrency market has been completely shattered, and one of the oldest crypto brokerage, called as Genesis Trading, which was founded in 2019, is set to warn of bankruptcy without funding. Now, the article is published in Bloomberg that states that Genesis executives spend the weekend seeking to line up financing, and it does say that it is struggling to raise fresh cash for its lending unit, and it is warning potential investors that it may need to file for bankruptcy, and the funds that they are looking to acquire is roughly around $1 billion, and if they do not meet that, they might file for bankruptcy if its efforts fails. Now, the article does not mention the name of the employees from Genesis, so really I'm not sure if this is a legitimate news or if it is fear and uncertainty. But if you go to Genesis Trading's Twitter account, they did share some similar sentiments, and they did actually mention about the exposure in FTX, and this was going back to the tweets on the 16th of this month. Now listen, guys, what I'd really recommend you to do is go to the Twitter account of Genesis Trading, look at the tweets, and you will get a thorough understanding of what is going on. Now, ever since 16th, they haven't tweeted anything about it, and one thing you need to remember, guys, where there is smoke, there is always fire. So it is possible that Genesis Trading is going belly up and they might be filing for bankruptcy. Now guys, in today's episode, I'm very briefly going to touch base on two technical analysis. I won't go into details cause you require charts and graphs and it would be better to do it on a screen. But Glassnode's weekly insights confirms uncertainty looms among whales and old hands, and the FTX fallout has shaken the confidence and financial position of whales and Bitcoin's old hands. And the weekly insights focuses on three things, that is exchange outflows, which have continued to break historical records, whales who are more than likely underwater on their position in aggregate, and long-term holders are currently spending coins at a historical significant rate. Now look guys, because of the FTX collapse, investors are no longer confident in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, because of which the price of Bitcoin has fallen down. Now one thing you need to remember, as the price of Bitcoin falls down, there are a lot of people who have heavily invested on Bitcoin mining as well. And few weeks ago we talked about few mining companies that were also not making profit, but they were making tremendous losses. It could be possible that some of these mining companies will be filing for bankruptcy as well. And Laura Shin has a brilliant episode which talks about some mining companies who have invested heavily and they could be making profits in the next few months or after a few years, but in the meantime, they need to have funds in order to show that they can sustain business. So imagine being in business where you know that you'll be making funds maybe 18 months to 2 years down the line, but because of the market condition, you have to surrender and you have to get liquidated. Those are the times that the Bitcoin mining industry is currently facing right now. And CoinShares weekly blog via Medium also states that short-term investment product inflows represented 75% of total inflows, and Ethereum saw the largest inflows on record into short Ethereum investment products totaling $14 million. So expect to see a downfall in the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So this is a time it is definitely not ideal for someone getting into the cryptocurrency space. But if you have experienced the bear market before, this just feels like good old times in 2017 or early 2018, 2013 and quite a lot of other. Now guys, let's talk about a massive news, and this is a banking behemoth called JP Morgan, and they plan to provide users with electronic transfers of virtual currencies via global computer network. And Michael Condidas did mention via Twitter a snapshot of their application. So what JP Morgan Chase have done is they have registered trademarks for four things. The first one is virtual currency plus exchange, crypto payment processing, virtual checking accounts, and financial services. So banking behemoths are also accepting the cryptocurrency space. And You Today, a leading online publication, mentions that JP Morgan had promised a Bitcoin-style payment system all the way back in 2013. And in 2018, they also filed a patent for a peer-to-peer system that would use blockchain for intra- and interbank settlements. So look guys, banking giants do fully understand the importance of blockchain and more importantly, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. So it's going to be really interesting to see how 2023 turns out to be for cryptocurrencies and the blockchain industry. Now regarding FTX, I do have an update, and the US Senate Committee has scheduled the FTX hearing for December 1st. Now so far as the US Senate Committee is concerned, it's the Democrats and the Republicans both will be having an agricultural committee, and they will hold a hearing about the FTX collapse and the need for congressional action. And look guys, whenever there is a Senate hearing, they often tend to show it live on YouTube. So what I'd really recommend you to do is go to YouTube and listen to the entire thing. Now it is extremely boring because it does last for a few days and it is roughly for 6 to 8 hours every day. And in this particular hearing, CFTC, that is Commodity Future Trading Commission Chair Rostin Bainum, will be one of the witnesses in hearing exploring the collapse of cryptocurrency exchange. Now usually there is a lot of drama when they ask questions and answers, and it's kind of like a fight between Democrats and Republicans. And I personally enjoy it, but I must say it is extremely boring and it does last for a few days as well. Now guys, let's talk about some positive news, and this is regarding Bitcoin Lightning Network. And OpenNode has just tweeted that they are partnered with an e-commerce giant WooCommerce, and it is officially a preferred Bitcoin provider for over 4 million merchants on the WooCommerce platform. And let me know guys if you do use WooCommerce. Personally, I use GoDaddy. And before that, I used to use Shopify. And in 2015, Shopify already had an option where you could let customers pay with Bitcoin. Now, OpenNode is having a partnership with WooCommerce roughly 7 years after Shopify, and this is still a breaking news. But the key thing to understand is OpenNode uses Lightning Network and makes it easy to accept Bitcoin payments or send Bitcoin payouts without gaining access to a global user base. So definitely brilliant use case. So let me know, guys, if you use WooCommerce. I'd be really keen to gain your experience. Now, in Shopify, the user experience was absolutely smooth and phenomenal, and I'm hoping that other e-commerce giants. Now, with Shopify, the user experience was absolutely smooth and phenomenal, and I'm really hoping that other e-commerce giants tend to do that, and Binance Pay has already done that with few retailers in Dubai and UAE. Now imagine Binance Pay merging with GoDaddy, Shopify and WooCommerce. That would be an absolutely massive news for Binance and the cryptocurrency industry. Now guys, let's talk about two news regarding UAE. But before we move on to two crypto and blockchain news regarding UAE, I have two news regarding obstacle course race in UAE. The first news is about Spartan race, and they have a massive event in December, the World Championship, and this is the second time they have the World Championship event in Abu Dhabi. And guys, I have a standalone episode with Spartan Race founder Joe Cena talking about Spartan Race NFT. And Sean, who's the Chief Technology Officer, was also in the podcast. And Calvin, who's one of the OGs in the NFT space, was at the podcast as well. So we discussed from a business point of view, why did Spartan Race decide to go ahead and launch its NFT? What were the challenges and quite a lot more. So please check out those episodes. It is a standalone episode talking more about NFTs and not so much regarding obstacle course race. And the second message is also about obstacle course race and my favorite one, that is Tough Mudder. And listen guys, I'm on a mission to do my 100th Tough Mudder, so check both the messages now. The first message is from Spartan. Now Spartan is a global fitness brand with 10 million strong community. They create transformational events, experiences, products and content to help people, companies and team tear down boundaries and expand what they believe to be possible. From day one, nearly 2 decades ago, they've been champions of human transformation, and they live to help people get outside, eat healthy, and develop habits that lead to a life of constant progress. With families of brands, they push people from every corner of the globe outside the comfort zone and immerse them in a world of tough fitness and elite sports. Now they do this because you can face and overcome adversity head on, and your potential is limitless. Now this year in December, in Abu Dhabi, the land of Gazelle, thousands of athletes and spectators will gather at the metropolis in the desert to compete for Spartan immortality. This is a unique opportunity to watch the world's best obstacle course race athletes compete for World Championship and have your group conquer the course themselves. The massive event takes place from the 2nd till the 4th of December this year. Now for Spartan World Championship, the ticket details and registration to the programs are mentioned in the links below. Now if you are into running, if you are into adventure, and if you are in UAE, you definitely need to check this out. And the second news, guys, is about Tough Mudder. Now listen guys, there are 3 things that I'm extremely passionate about. All 3 of them have some kind of similarity, that is heavy metal, Bitcoin and obstacle course race. Now we've looked at the premier obstacle course race event, that is Spartan Race, which is taking place between the 2nd and 4th of December. But the next one that I'd like to discuss is Tough Mudder. Now Tough Mudder is unique, and I did my very first obstacle course race, that was Tough Mudder. And Tough Mudder obstacles are more fun, more adventurous, and it involves a lot of teamwork. And you can also use my promo code, which is George25, for a 25% discount. Now if you are into running, if you are into adventure, if you are into obstacle course race, you definitely need to sign up for this event. So go to the website toughmudderarabia.com, and you can also follow them on Instagram. The Instagram handle is toughmudderarabia. Now guys, since we've taken care of that, let's take care of 2 news regarding Dubai and UAE. And both the news are about blockchain DXB, and both the news have to do with an event that I'm conducting on the 15th of December. Now the first event that I'm doing is called as Metaverse, the Hype Reality and New World Order, and it starts at 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Gulf Standard Time. And the second event is called as Ethereum Beginner's Guide, and this is also on the 15th of December from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Gulf Standard Time. So let me just quickly explain what I'm going to be talking about in the Metaverse event. So the session is completely free of cost. You can register via Eventbrite or just drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. And this session is to educate the people on Metaverse. So regarding the hype of Metaverse, I'm going to be explaining the Metaverse and its impact, and Facebook changing its name to Meta, how that has affected the industry and institutions and companies that have joined board. We'll also be exploring the reality versus expectation of Metaverse, the hardware and software solutions and its limitations. We will be discussing real-life use cases, a new world order, and will the United States of America have the competitive edge in Metaverse, or will it be its competing nations, that is China, Russia, or Turkey? And what steps countries can do to be an early adopter in the Metaverse? So the session is essentially broken down into 3 parts. In part A, I discuss the history of Metaverse, what is Metaverse, the hype surrounding Metaverse, and be exploring the hardware and software limitations of Metaverse. And in part B, we'll be looking at areas where Metaverse merges with physical world. We'll be discussing news and events surrounding Metaverse in Dubai, and I'll be exploring blockchain's role in Metaverse, as in do we need blockchain in the Metaverse, and what role does cryptocurrency play in the Metaverse. We'll also be discussing the top 5 platforms, the limitations and challenges of blockchain, keeping in mind the blockchain trilemma problem. We'll also be exploring NFTs and artificial intelligence enabled NFTs and how they merge with Metaverse. And in part C, we will be exploring Dubai's role in Metaverse and Dubai Metaverse strategy, what role VARA, that is Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, plays in cryptocurrencies and in Metaverse, and the role of Web3 in Metaverse. And I'm also going to be sharing Dubai's initiatives in making Metaverse a reality, the different projects and the top 5 Metaverse news regarding Dubai, and quite a lot more. So it is a completely free session, so please feel free to join these sessions. Now guys, on the 15th of October, I do have another session from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. called as Ethereum Beginner's Guide. And look guys, I tend to do this session every month, and this is done in line with Dubai Blockchain Strategy, an initiative to train, educate and consult the people on blockchain technology, and the sessions are completely free. You can go to eventbrite.com and just type in blockchaindxb.com, or just drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Now, on the session on the 15th of December, I'm going to be talking about what is Ethereum, the history of Ethereum, the projects that existed before Ethereum, the key and basic difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum. And guys, you'll be surprised that people in the industry still do not understand the key difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum, the challenges faced by Ethereum and the competitors of Ethereum. And what I'll be exploring is the Ethereum London hard fork, and what I believe is the biggest game changer, and that introduced the burning mechanism, and it is extremely possible that central bank digital currencies could be implementing the burning mechanism as well. And we'll ask the brilliant question, can Ethereum flip Bitcoin? And we'll also explore the stages in Ethereum that recently happened because of the upgrade. So we'll be exploring the merge, the surge, the verge, the purge, the splurge, and quite a lot more. And we'll be exploring the post-merge era. And if you want to get involved in Ethereum, what is it that you need to do? How do you build on Ethereum? The competitors of Ethereum and the so-called Ethereum killers of Ethereum, we'll be exploring that. Now lately, Solana was often termed as the Ethereum killer. In the past, EOS was considered as the biggest threat to Ethereum, and looks like these projects have disappeared or on the verge of disappearing. And we'll also explore the current and the future state of Ethereum. Now look guys, this is a beginner level series, ideally suited for someone with little or no experience at a basic and beginner level, and no prior experience or technical knowledge is needed. The sessions are completely free of cost and no investment advice will be given whatsoever. So drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com or go to eventbrite.com and sign up for this event completely free of cost. So that's all for today guys in the Crypto and Coffee Update from Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com or check out my website, that is area2071.com, and also check out my main website, that is blockchaindxb.com. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes is going to be an Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. So let's kick start with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. How the series of episodes on the Crypto and Coffee 88 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East, and the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And this is followed by Ask Me Anything series that you're listening to right now, where you listeners can ask any questions from the cryptocurrency world. I have a question by Jessica who asks, do you think we should use crypto for payments and a medium of exchange? Now, Jessica, this is a very broad question. Now, if you go back to the history of Bitcoin as to why Bitcoin was created as a medium of exchange and a means of payment, and not as a store of value. But because of human greed, I do feel that because the supply of Bitcoin is limited, people have pumped up the price of Bitcoin. So to answer your question, when you talk about Bitcoin, at this point of time, I don't think that Bitcoin will be used as a medium of payment. Now, that was the intention of Satoshi Nakamoto creating Bitcoin. And in 2017 or 18, one of the closest person to Satoshi Nakamoto, he was out in public. I'm trying to recollect his name, and he's currently involved in another protocol. He's a Russian guy. He actually said that when he was exchanging emails with Satoshi Nakamoto, the maximum price, and I'm talking about the wildest price prediction that they thought Bitcoin could ever reach, was $100. And that was a long shot. So keeping that thing in mind, the price of Bitcoin right now is $15,000, and we are saying that this is the worst time in cryptocurrency history. You need to understand, Jessica, that when you talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum, the value is so high only because the supply is fixed, and in case of Ethereum, the supply is cleverly managed. So people want to acquire more of that. And one thing which I do say in my podcast is human greed, game theory, and the fixed supply of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies make it extremely difficult for Bitcoin to be used or other cryptocurrency to be used as it was intended. But to answer your question, do you think it should be used as a cryptocurrency payments? 100% yes. Now, will that thing happen? I really am not sure. But what I envision, at least 3 to 6 years from now, is Bitcoin and Ethereum, another smart contracting platform, like just the maybe top 2 or 3, may be used as a store of value. Even NFTs may be used as a store of value. But so far as medium of exchange is concerned and payments is concerned, it could be possible that CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, and stablecoins may be used as a medium of exchange. Now, unfortunately, there are so many shit coins in the market, it's really hard to expect what the role of each cryptocurrencies will be. Now, I do envision that Bitcoin and Ethereum will be there for a very long time, along with stablecoins. Now, if you look at stablecoins, they're definitely used as a medium of exchange and a medium of payments. But you need to understand, when you talk about stablecoins, they are definitely not permissionless. Now, they are using cryptography. Some of them are using blockchain technology, but the miners are the ones who are managing everything. They are validating these transactions and uploading them on the blockchain. So strictly speaking, a lot of the stablecoins are not using the proper ethos of open blockchain, but we are still using it. And in today's episode and in yesterday's episode, Jessica did talk about that the volume of stablecoins are accounting for over 98% of the total cryptocurrency market. Now, personally for me, I don't think stablecoins should be treated as cryptocurrency payments. They are using cryptography, but they're definitely not using the right ethos of open blockchain. Now, keeping all these things in mind, I do feel that, we should be using, but are we going to use it? I really am not sure, because human greed, game theory, and the fixed supply of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies make it extremely difficult for a smooth transition of cryptocurrencies to be utilized as a medium of exchange and payment. So that's all for today, guys, from the Ask Me Anything series from Blockchain DXB. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com, or check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website, that is area2071.com, that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And remember, guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes in the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other 2 news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And this is followed by Ask Me Anything series that you're listening to right now, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.